Hello, hello. I hope everyone is doing well. We are live and we have absolutely no idea what we're going to do today. So this will be fun. Yeah. Let me get my second screen set up here. Okay. So, yeah, have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do, which I think is hysterical. I'm just going to push this across real quick. Sorry for the bumpy and the wiggling of the camera. Let's see if that works. If anybody is here, let me know you're here so I know you can see me and hear me. But please know you don't have to do that. And I think, I've got my board here. And I think we're going to have a play with some watercolors and mixed media type things. So let's have a play with that. So I hope everyone had a great week. Had some fun. And yeah, I think that is what we're going to do. We're going to make a background. I'm going to use my Canson XL watercolor. Hello, Ave. How are you doing? I hope everything, you're going to hear a loud crash. That's just me. I hope everything is going well. I am doing well. Very well. Thank you for asking. So I have my piece of Canson XL watercolor paper. It's cold press. And I am going to tape it down. I've got a hardboard here. Now you could also use the back of your watercolor pads. And I mean this here as a hardboard to tape down on. It's nice, it's thick, it's very sturdy. I also use mine for making albums, so I don't have any. So I have these hardboards. You can also tape it right down to your surface here to do that. Oh, with a grandbaby. Awesome. So I'm just going to tape this down. And I'm going to create 4 quadrants. And we're just going to pull in a lot of stuff like I did. If anyone saw that on the 25th, I had launched a Christmas card video. Yes, we are going to paint. Yes. We're going to have some fun with our supplies. As I said, just like we did when it came to the Christmas card that I did. I really had a good time with that. Just adding the different layers. Um, and getting the different mixes and everything like that. And this is just low-tack painter's tape that I get from our hardware store. So I just want to create some backgrounds. I don't know if they'll work or what, but we're going to have some fun with some mixed media. Avi, great with jelly plates. Absolutely. And believe it or not, I can't find my stencils. That's funny. Okay, I think I found my stencils. But I can't find my small ones. Looking for my small ones. But that's okay. Just gonna pull out some here. Have some fun. And of course, I did not pull. So when it comes to our bases, I'm going to start with some watercolor washes. Now, you do not have to start with watercolor washes. You could start with acrylics, acrylic paints. That always works. You could use inks if you have inks. So there's many different things that that you can use. I just like the softness of how the watercolor plays. And let's do just going to put some watercolor down first. Or water, clear water. And I'm just going to let these colors move. Not sure if I'm going to go out. This one not going out to the edge. And this will work with, I love it when watercolors move. And this will work with any watercolors. So if you've got Crayolas, um, if you've got the Prangs, whatever you have, this will work. That's too red. It will work with them. Hello, Flo. How are you doing? So, also want to stretch colors that I'm putting together. That's a lot of water there. So whenever you have a lot of water in a spot, and you will, I do, as I said, I like the Canson XL watercolor paper. No, it is not everyone's favorite because it's not 100% cotton. I'm okay with that because I like it when things bloom. Um, and have those different areas that come across. It's just something that I enjoy. I think down here I'm going to do a variegated. Let's have fun with a variegated. And I'm just going to go directly onto the paper. And just add that wash. And if I feel I've got too much color, I can come in with a cleaner brush and pull that down. And I do want this magenta to come into play. Again, just going back and forth. By doing that, you're going to get those different levels. And then again, if you see, good morning, love friends, how are you doing? And when you see it start puddling in the corners, you can always just take your towel. I fold it in half, pinch it, and then I just push it on the side. And it will sop up, you know, that extra water, and then it'll come back out. All right, so we have a springy looking, bright, vibrant wash going on there. And let's do some circles here. And we are going to make some cards with these. Just going to put some circles in here. I want to take some of that color away. Because we can doodle on some of our pieces. And if you turn your brush, you can tell I'm not doing this. If you just let the brush, let it turn, you'll get your shapes. What color do I want here? See, like, I love that bloom. I love that bloom. I love what these are doing. I'm going to get some side blooms on this, I can tell. So they're fun. They're the fun things that I like. So when I do a circle, I start and I'm twisting the brush as I'm turning. I don't know if I can show that correctly, doing a top-down type thing. And then I'm coming in with a clean brush and I'm pushing the pigment back to the one side just to get that look of what I want that to be. I'm going to let those three dry. Then, let's see, for this one, what should I do for this one? I'm going to throw some colors down. See how they'll go together. Purple and green, I don't know about that, but yeah, we can find out. That's not a color I wanted. It may work. Not sure of this color scheme. And you can see with watercolors, if it looks like you're getting that harsh line, now you can see with that green and purple, I'm getting that other color there. I want to make these just a little bit darker. I'm going to come in with a different color. Remember, your watercolors, when they dry, they're going to dry back. They're going to soften. They're not going to be as vibrant as what you see here. And I do usually have two water glasses, one for dirty, one for clear. Some do all cools in one, all warms in another. Again, total preference. And I'm going to come in and fill this in with just the wash of the brown. I'm not liking that open space. And then just coming in with water to move and to soften some of the edges that we have. Now, even though this is somewhat dry, you can splatter water. Water is a great thing to splatter. And this will put marks in your piece, so you can do that when it's dry. You can also do it when it's wet. So if I come in here with just a drop of water, it's going to push the watercolors away. So let's say you don't have any stencils. Have fun with water. And you want to do this when the watercolors are damp. They still have just a little bit. You can see like this is drier in this area than that area. But this is a great way to get texture in your piece. And again, if you don't have stencils, we don't need to have everything. But I am very much enjoying the look. And then you can just keep filling it in, and it's just going to push. It's just going to push and move around the watercolors. So you can keep adding all of them how you want. Hi, Kelly. Brand of watercolors. There can be a lot. I do my favorite watercolors. I have 3 of them. I very much enjoy the Mission Gold watercolors. Big fan on those. Those are my favorite. I do like these. These are the PWCs. Yeah, PWC watercolors. And the QORs. I think they were recently, I think they're under golden. Those are the three that I like. Now, there are specific colors that I'll mix in. Um, I love to have, I'm one that I do use a white. I do use a titanium buff for the colors to change them. I know, that's, nope. But I do like those colors as well. I also, though, honestly do enjoy working with the Crayola, the 8 set. I use that set, and I think I have one here. Yep, here's my Crayola set. Love my Crayola set. This set is great if you're curious about watercolors, and this set really does help with color mixing. This is this is the set that I used to learn color mixing. I know that if I get a red and a yellow, I get orange. I get that. I do yellow and blue, I get green. I get red and blue, I get purple. But all of those different colors, there's a black in here, and that can change your colors as well. Your black, a black shade is going to mute your color. It's going to tone it down. And this just helped to mix those corals, to create the mute shades um, when it came to that. I think the Crayolas are great. I've never really worked with the prangs, which I believe are comparable to these. Um, and I have worked with others when it comes to watercolors. The other thing that you may enjoy about a watercolor, and if you want to get started, and if you don't want to start at Crayola, um, the one set from Altenew, not in the white case. There was a first set that they came out with, and then there was a second one in a metal tin. It was a strip. That's a nice set to work with. Watercolors are translucent, and if you want to have that true, watercolor effect, I'm going to go back into these real quick. And you want to have that effect, then you want to make sure you don't have like a gouache or something that's got a lot of a white filler. All right, now we're going to see if this is going to work. Hold breath. And I'm going to go over that other one. And I'm not going to overwork that area. And I'm just going to fill in that area because I think it was still wet. Yeah, I can see some of the orange coming down, but that's okay. It all depends. That's where I would start. If you're curious about watercolors. I've really gotten back into them lately. All right, what do I want here? I want a blue. Let's go with this one. And what I'm doing with these is just adding water to make them even more translucent. Alright, we're going to leave that one alone. That one's done. And I just put a smudge. That's okay. We'll add splatters. So, again, I am not a watercolor artiste. Um, so I'm okay. What's even good for watercolor, if you don't have any watercolors, if you've got water reactive inks, that can be the Simon Says Positively Saturated, I believe the Catherine Pullers, um, oxides, the regular distress inks, you can use them as watercolors. Stampin' Up, you could use those as your watercolors. If you have the re-inkers, you could use those as your watercolors. I encourage anyone, when they want to try something new, because I encourage that, try something new. Have fun with either what you have, or if you're curious about something because you like the effect or you like the look. And I've been there. I was this person where, okay, we struggle with, okay, I've got to have everything they have. Yep, I get it. Absolutely. Been there, done that. Over the years, I've learned, you know what? There are alternatives. There are other ways that we can do and create our effects to see if we like it. And if we do, then we could go and say, you know what, I'm hearing, seeing good reviews on these that are more expensive. And you can also trim down the number at which you have. Um, I do suffer from, um, I must have every shade. Yes. Can we hear scream? Woohoo! Yes. I do. I absolutely do suffer from that. In colored pencils. Um, Very much so. Colored pencils. Colored pencils are my favorite medium of choice. See, look at what this is doing. This is, and you can see that one little dot there just will not break in. So I'm going to push on it. And now that's going to move just a little bit more. Um, Colored pencils, they are my weakness. But now I'm okay. I know my favorite, tried and true Prismacolors. I know others have experienced issues. I have yet to experience those issues. I'm also not using them every day. So again, there's always these different variables. All right, we're going to leave that one alone. And you can see we've got some of the transparency coming in here, and we can see some transparency in here. I like the fact that it looks a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Drippy? I don't know. I don't know if that's a word. Um, Here you can see where we added the water down here. It does, even though it was into the paper, we can still add our water and get our water spots. Now, I don't like to lift up. I know we've splattered with water. A lot of people do that after they create a blended background or something like that, and then they quick come in with a paper towel. I like to let it dry naturally because then you get these beautiful hard lines, or you get a mixing of the colors inside that cell. Again, that's just personal preference. But you can see with watercolors, and you can do the same thing with your Crayolas and less expensive ones. You're just going to get a different look and a different feel for them. All right. And then here we've just got all of this texture that's going in. It's these blooms, it's this movement, it's this chaos, but patchwork at the same time. And then here, I'm not quite sure what we've got going on here. But we've got something, and we are going to see what we can do here. I'm seeing white coming over this. I'm just seeing white. I don't know why, but that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling white when it comes to that. Um, yes, I had taken a couple art courses as well. back in the day, and yes, they did focus on the more expensive supplies when we had to provide them. And I get it. I understand it. When you're teaching, I'm a certified teacher as well. I'm a certified teacher in Zentangle. And yes, when I teach my introduction classes in person, they get a packet of the actual supplies that are associated with Zentangle. Micron pen, the actual tiles, the actual pencil, the actual chalk, all of that. Absolutely. Because when we do that, that helps people. It sometimes will help the alleviation of frustration because the materials are going to do what they're supposed to do. And that does help a student. Absolutely. After that, at the end of my course, I encourage, use what you have. Ballpoint pen, piece of copy paper. Yep. I do Zentangle in all of my meetings at work. Absolutely. I'm listening to my people. I am, somewhat. I'm going to set this one aside, and I'm going to bring in another piece because I want those to dry, and I don't want to use my easel. Let's see, do I have another board? I hope. Okay, I do, but it's not open. All right, let's open this. I get these, again, use the backs of these Canson XL pads are perfect for this. You do not need to buy one of these. You can get these on Amazon or Dick Blick. But it's just literally a hard piece of board. Hence the name, hardboard. Okay, I'm going to keep this sheet large. And let's real quick tape this one down. Because we're going to have a lot of water on this one. Now, before I tape this down, hang on. One of the tricks that I like to do with watercolor paper, and again, this is Canson XL, I'm going to spritz the back. And you can see, the moment you do this, the paper just starts curling. It just starts, it comes to life. I'm going to take it, I'm going to flip it upside down, and I'm going to add water to this side. And now that I've done that, the paper's now going back down. It's also stuck to the board. This will keep your paper flat. It will take longer for it to dry. But I like this because as I add water to it and underneath it, I can get this paper to relax and I don't have to tape it down. It's nice to be able to have this page as flat as possible. So that we don't get the bumps and the ridges. Now you could also buy, what do you call it? Blocks. But they are a higher expense. We don't need to spend a lot of money. Okay, so now that is literally glued down to my board. So now we are just going to drop, and this is clean water that I'm pulling. And now we're just going to drop some colors, and I want to do some stripes. And I just messed up my clean water. So you can take, and I want to go next to this one, just take a large sheet. What color do I want next? Let's go with this one. And you can see it doesn't keep it completely flat. You can see that I've got a bump going on there. But that's okay. And can you tell I love indigo? That is just one of my favorite colors. And I'm just going to go back and forth, letting these colors do what they want to do. And these two make absolutely terrific backgrounds. And I just splattered. And come in, make a large line. And this is all going to just start melding together. We can add a purple. Just for a little bit of interest. You can keep some of the white that's going on in there too. And then I'm going to add this green. I love that bright green. And now I'm going to let that dry. No fancy strokes. Nothing crazy. Just stripes. If your paper is soaked and saturated, it's just going to help those colors to move. And you're going to see these awesome blooms coming in, going up and down when it comes to this. So I'm just going to set this one aside. I'm first going to clean up the edges because I got a lot of paint going on the edges. You know, go off that edge. Have fun with those edges. All right. Now you can also tip it. And you'll see some of these colors will start moving like these. They'll start moving. Tip it back and forth. That's what I like about this paper. I love Canson XL paper for that. It's not... It's not 100% cotton. 100% cotton holds on to the moisture better. It doesn't pull. If I'm not mistaken, the Canson XL watercolor, it's a cellulose. Is that what it says on here? I don't know if it says it on here. I think it's a cellulose. So it's got some cotton in it, but not, it's like wood pulp when it comes to that. Well, hello, Dawn. Oh my God, I just did it. So, Ave, when you, the whole mud concept, let me see if I can grab this without making a mess and spilling everything off my table, because this will be fun. Let's see. There we go. Color wheel. Make your color wheel. Take any type of paper, draw your pie chart. Now, you don't have to go as far as what I did. So I did our primary colors, which of course are red, so I put a P next to it, yellow, and blue. And then we have our secondary colors. Your secondary colors is the orange from the yellow and the red. There's your orange. So you can see how you have those spaces in between. And then with your blue and your yellow, you've got your green. And then from your blue and your red, you have your purple. Now, if you take your purple and mix it with a red, you get what's supposed to be like a magenta. Those are your tertiary, your third level colors. All right? If you take your purple that you made with the blue, you're going to get a violet. Same thing with your green and your blue, you'll get the teal. Your yellow and your green, you'll get your, they call it chartreuse. I call it bright green or light green. Your orange and yellow, you'll get amber, and then your red and your orange, you'll get vermilion. Those are the technical terms. So those are your three levels. So you have your ones, you have your twos, and you can see in the pie where they go. If I take my purple and mix it with a yellow, you're going to get brown. There's your mud. If I take a red to my green, and notice how they're over it. They're across from each other. That's what's going to give you your mud. So red and green, orange and blue, amber and violet, yellow and purple, your bright green with your magenta. So as you keep going, those are the colors you don't want to put together because that's going to give you your mud. This helps. Now, with any of these, you can add a little bit of black. You can add some white to soften the shades. Black will tone them down. But also from these, when you get those muds, they can give you some of the most beautiful shades of grays and browns. Absolutely. So, Ave, try this. Create your wheel. Now, you could just do it with 6 sections because then you would do your primaries and your secondaries. If you want to go into your tertiary colors, that third level, then you can see you need a total of 12 slices. And then you just keep adding water. That's what these are. So this is the full color. Add a little bit more water, add a little bit more water. Because that's the beauty of watercolors. They're translucent. They can do beautiful things on their own. So I hope that helped. And just keep playing with it. I gravitate to the same colors when I mix. It's absolutely hysterical. Yes, the quality of the paper does make a difference too. It truly does. You know, if you have 100% cotton paper, that's wonderful. Absolutely. It is the best to work on. You'll get beautiful blends. You'll get these beautiful, oh, keep this. This is an awesome tool. Oh, we'll be using that. You'll get these beautiful blends. Absolutely. It is higher in price. Yes. Um, there are some things that, yeah, I just won't, because again, I like the way the Canson watercolor paper works and what it does. I like that effect. A lot of people don't. And that's fine. By all means, we all have differences. All right, let's pull this back in. You'll know your piece is dry because it goes flat. This went flat. This went flat. And it's not cool to the touch. You should, if you take the back of your hand and put it on top of your piece, if it's a little bit cool, there's still some dampness going on in there. Like this one. There's a lot of dampness going on in this one. So I know that is not done. You can also see here, see how I got a little bit of a darker shade because this green here has a lot of yellow in it. So mixing with that, I was starting to get a mud, but a beautiful olive color. So that's what you can see when you start playing with your colors and mixing them and doing one of those charts where you have all the colors going across and all the colors going down, and then just mixing those colors as you go. You get this great square chart. I know, you're like, okay, I've never heard of that. I know. It's tough to explain. So this I'm going to keep on here. This one I'm going to work on. I want to bring in, we can make a cute background with that. Nothing fancy. We just need an archival fine liner. I'm going to use this one from Spectrum Noir. And all we are going to do is we're going to add a little piece down here, a little squiggle, and a little squiggle line. Oh, we have balloons. Shapes are awesome. Shapes are awesome. And we have another line. Another balloon. They can have little tiny loops for little bows. Now, this one here, we can't do that there, but what we can do is imagine there's a line, come down and say, oh, there's that line. And just have it go. Now, we can also go very faint and give the illusion of the line back there. We're going to do this one again. Bring it down. And this one we'll do half of it. And then we'll go lightly on this side. Just to give the illusion that it is back there. So right there we have a birthday background. And all you're doing are shapes. And again, that's what I love when it comes to this paper. And these hard lines that are happening there. Love, love, love. Okay. For this one, let's turn this and let's have some fun with some, I want to work on that one. We're going to turn this, get my water out of my way, and let's have some fun with this. Now remember I said I'm seeing white. I'm seeing some white gesso coming in on top of this. That white gesso is the best. And I want to use this one. Okay. Because I'm loving this one and I'm loving this one. So it's almost like I want to put this down here, but I think I'd actually want that to be like a gold and then this be white, right? Why not? Let's try it. You never know. Again, it's paper. Absolutely, it's paper. Well, hello, James. I'm glad you're here, too. We are just having fun with some mixed media stuff. Welcome. Making sure there's no questions. We have a name. Okay, we do this, we do this. So, Ava, you asked, did I use brown there or just the mix of colors? Are you talking about the patchy or this one over here? Let me know. This one, it was just the two colors mixing. For this one, yes, I did add brown to this one, if that helps. Alrighty. I'm actually going to use my acrylics. I'm going to get some white down. I do gravitate to white also. I don't know why. And then here's the gold. This is just some metallic gold. You could use a gold paste. You could use a mix of paste with mica. Again, whatever you already have, that's what you want to use. And I want to use these up. I found a whole stack of, do you all remember Cut and Dry? I found a whole stack of it. So I just cut pieces off. It lasts forever. All right, I am going, let's put some circles up here. What do you think? And I'm going to use this. And I'm sorry if I'm shaking my camera. Oh, yes. I like using a palette knife, but when it comes to a palette knife, I like to use it when it comes to pastes. Not paints, because I think that's what happens. It can go up underneath it. Oh, that's cool. Okay. All right. And I think oh, I can line this up. Yes, I can. I want to tone that down. And I like that too. So always have fun with your stencils. And by doing this, if I don't get this cleaned right away, it doesn't ruin the stencil. Really, I only clean my stencils right away if um, I use a paste or a glitter paste. We can also, that went flying across the room. Best tool ever. Ever. We can also use our watercolors to make a wash. You do want it to have a lot of pigment. It'll be very faint. I think we're having more wings today. Just going to add a little bit of black to that. This, I'm turning it into an oval, but you can see you're just getting these little tiny marks, and you can cross it over. And now you're just getting this different look. So have fun with your layers. Layers are awesome. So now you're just layering your patterns on top of each of your patterns. I think it's fun. Yes. For this one here, I think I want it to be very subtle. I don't know why I'm having a problem with packaging today. With the white. Now you could also use pixie dust or pixie spray. Pixie dust. That's funny. And that will help to make your stencil stay flat if you're worried about anything going underneath. When I use something like this, I'm going straight up and down. Now, since I'm using white, it's going to push this back, make the watercolor softer. And if you want to see more white, then you would just make it heavier. Now, what's left onto this little piece of cut and dry or foam. And now we just have a faint, the faint effect of those triangles coming down. You don't want, I mean, some people, now if you want that bolder, you can make it bolder. You know, up here it's a little bolder because it's on the yellow. That's already pale. You can certainly do that. You can add texture to your balloons if you want. Why not? It's that fun. And she's getting a little drier. She's also getting flatter. So you know that. I kind of do really like that, and it's probably because it's the brown and the teals that are going into that when it comes to this. So that's probably why I am gravitating to that. I think this one's adorable. Because again, it's not a perfect shape, but I like that. This here is just a great background. We're going to add more to this background. And I think I'm going to pull in. This one I'm not quite sure if we're going to do anything else. What do you all think? Should we do something to that? Maybe some white lines? I don't know. I don't know. I do not know. I am going to bring in my oxides. And we're going to continue to use this one. So I'm just going to line this back up again. As we can. And I'm just going to go a little harder. So I only want just a little bit of hint of color here. I also like when it's mixing and matching, meaning it's not complete coverage. Gently bring my hands up. I'm going to come in with warm lipstick. That's the white. That's the lumberjack. That's the gold. I would be okay if I mixed some of this up. I know others would be like, no. And then, let's see, what's this one? Spiced marmalade. And don't think because you're putting another color on top of something else that you're losing what you did below. You can see that I still see my white, I still see the yellow watercolor, I still see the splats that I put in there with the water and all of that. I mean, we're just building, putting on top, continuing to go on top, and all of that fun stuff. So we're not losing anything when it comes to this. I think for this one, I'm going to do those circles. So I don't know if you guys saw um, what do you call the last video, the one video that I did, it was the Christmas card, and I showed with the glaze pen. Again, use what we have. But I think I can take these off this board now. All right, here we go. We're going to unveil. This is the fun part, right? I'm going to move my watercolors out of the way. And we still have that large piece. Of course. When I pull my paper off, I just go very slow. I pull it on back of itself. You can see how flat that is. And I don't have any issues as of yet for my paper ripping. I do try to keep my tape. The problem is, though, it coils up on itself. I can't get it undone sometimes, but I do try. So, like, I'll try to take this piece, and there's a piece of silicone that I have off the side sometimes, and I'll put that down. And I do try to use them. Yes, I have been hollered at before. But sometimes it's tough. Let's see here. As long as you take your time pulling, okay, lost that one. Take your time, don't go fast. It's when you go fast is when your papers will rip. And then our final one. And because we taped it this way, we know that, okay, we can cut it here, we can cut it there, trim down with however we want to go. We have white borders, lost that one. White borders on these as well. Let me move that a little way. And here are our 4 panels. It's kind of cool. You can just put that up on the wall, you know, when you have that. Yeah. Let's trim these down and get them into our panels. So I'm going to cut this one. Here. Just kind of eyeballing down the center. They'll be trimmed down more later. I'm going to set this one aside because we're pretty much done with that one. We'll add little tiny highlights. Yes, I have finally figured out the rotary trimmer there. She and I were not getting along when I was making a cut going one way. I can't explain it. Just cannot explain it. All right. So let's look at this one. This one, I just feel it needs some gold. Now, I am going to be using my heat gun, so I apologize for that noise. I'm going to pull in my gold embossing powder. Now, they do make the Versamark pens. Absolutely. You can use your stencil to add your Versamark ink and have that gold going across that. And I think that would probably look even better on this one, but we've got the gold paint there. But I mean, if you don't have the stencil, if you don't have the clear ink, the clear ink pen, what I have found has worked is the clear glaze pen by Jelly Roll. It's a pen that just has, it leaves a 3D type thing. When you color it, it'll dry clear and it'll be shiny. So what I have found, and you got to be ready. You got to be ready to do this. I was not ready in the video because I still had everything taped down, which was very upsetting. But if I take this and if I hold my piece down, and I'm just going to draw circles. Keep going. I'm going to keep going, keep going. I'm going to real quick pick this up, get embossing powder on it. You can create a squiggle. See? Whatever you use for embossing powder, it's got to be sticky. I know some people have used water. I've used water as well. I have found, though, that once you get the heat gun to it, it it just goes away. But I have yet, and don't get me wrong, I do have the fine lines, those pens, when it comes to this. And they're great. And I'm trying to find one now, of course. What is annoying is, even though that's a bullet tip, it's just not fine enough for me. This is, you can get these fine lines, but you gotta move quick. I mean, you've gotta start squiggling. I'm gonna make sure this is going. Yeah. You've gotta move really quick. So keep going, keep going. Don't go too long, don't go too long. Pick it up. Get the embossing powder on it. Okay? So you've got to move. You just got to move a little quicker when it comes to that. And again, it's designed to give this raised 3D look when you do that. Or if you draw something, it can create a resist. So that would be cool too. If you do these first, then put your watercolor or your ink blending or whatever you want over it, and it's going to resist what it's doing. I just love the fact that it's a very fine line that I'm getting. I have yet to see a gold pen or a nib for a fountain pen or a calligraphy pen to work. Now, I have one, and for some reason I can't get it to work. So, more on that later because it would be a very upsetting video. But I'll show you what this looks like. Now, the one side, okay, yeah, whew, way too thick. And this is pretty thin, and I don't push down, but we're going to do, because I work in threes, so we're going to do a large overlapping circle set. We don't have to kill ourselves racing to put the embossing powder on, but you can see the lines are a little thicker. And I like it. I just like them a little thinner. I'm picky, sorry. But this will do the trick as well. Now, what's great when it comes to the other side, this is a great mark maker when it comes to that. So if I sit here and just push this down and just do some of these marks, I can put my cap back on. And now I've got teardrops. And there you go. I love this piece now. I'm just saying. Ave, I have also tried the glass pen as well. Now, here's funny with a glass pen, and what Ave's referring to is one of these. They are awesome. I can tangle with these. Oh, yeah, it's awesome. Yes. But they won't hold the circle when you move around. It breaks and you lose that. So I've been practicing with black ink when it comes to these. Let me show you. So here's some black ink. Scratch piece of paper. And I love these glass pens. Absolutely love them. I've been doing some tangle work and all of that with them. But you can see I can get lines. Sometimes. There we go. There we go. See, I can get lines. I can do tangles. But what I can't do, see how it's breaking? It won't keep the circle. And you can see if I come out, it only has a section of it. It's not like this. I am, for some reason, extremely picky when it comes to this. So, yeah, it's, if I go slow and small, yep, I can get my circles. But when I do these big ones, it's only when I do the big ones, they're really tough. Really tough. But I keep practicing, and I refuse to give up. Because it will work. And I will find something that will work. Absolutely. So these are actually something that we're going to be playing with in the community, in the paid side, once we get that up and rolling. And then we'll have a section on the free side as well. Yes. Okay. So you can see now we've got our gold dots. Hey, Debbie J, how are you doing? So glass pens, they are wonderful. They are wonderful. Where I find with a glass pen, what you take what a chance with is the glass pen tip needs to be smooth just a little bit, where some of them they're just cut off. And that's where you lead into some issues. So it all depends on who the manufacturer is and who's making it. But all of them, they all do work. Absolutely. I'm just cleaning off some space here so we can focus on our cards now. All right, so we have this one. Very mixed media type. Now, we could go over with this. I mean, this is a good investment. I mean, it's cool. It's awesome when it comes to that. We can add an accent if you don't have Nouveau drops or enamel dots or sequins. Don't get sequins. They grow on their own in your drawers. I believe this. I honestly believe this, that sequins do that. You can use this. So I could come in here and just draw a circle, fill it in. Let me draw on a circle, fill it in. And it doesn't have to be the clear one. I know Ranger has these as well. You can get them in a gray, in a black, and it doesn't matter what color you have. The embossing powder will cover it up. So there's times where I'll use my VersaFine black when I'm using a silver or gold metallic, and it's just fine. You don't always have to have the clear. Now, what's cool is down here, some of that Distress Oxide was still wet, and I'm good with it. I like that look. Not a lot of people do. So you can have fun drawing and just adding a little bit of glitz. And there you go. See, I like the grungy look. Now, if you don't always test whenever you're done with doing mixed media or using your oxides especially, always test your papers first. But that, I think that adds to the piece, gives it a little bit of shimmer. You've got dots. You can put them wherever you want. If I look at, so these two panels are done. We're going to set those aside. And this one's done. We just have to trim them down. Now let's focus in on this one. We can still use either the glaze, but again, it's just one thing that you can use. If we look at this, I'm using the brush tip and I'm going over where I have the gold acrylic paint. Do it in steps so that you know. So you could absolutely use a stencil to put down a color. And then if you're like, you know what, I'd really like to go over it, you've already got then the template that's going to come down. I can put a squiggle and have the squiggle come off this way with these pens. And now we've got this just bright area of gold coming in. Okay, there you go. Same thing as the stencil, we just made it brighter with the gold embossing powder. Yes, Debbie J, they do. You agree with me with sequins. Sequins multiply in your drawer. I'm just saying. I bought a small bag of the clear iridescent. They are my favorite sequins. I use them a lot, and I still have the same amount. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. There is a Ave. Are you talking about this one or this one? It's again, it's bright. It's very, I will say, very abstract. There is um, someone that I have just fallen in love with on YouTube. I'll link her channel down below. Um, she's really gotten me back again while I was down and out for a little bit. Just just started watching some different things, thinking, okay, what's going to spark this up? What's going to get me out of this? Okay, what's going on? And she was definitely one of them. And I've always been watching her. Her name is Debbie Love. And she is on YouTube, and she does abstract art. And it is beautiful. It's and she just goes, and it's like, oh my goodness. And whenever I watch something, I look to say, okay, how can we incorporate it into what our stash already is? We have these things. And so, Glass Pen gave me the fine line for these circles. She has this special nib. It's very expensive. And yes, see, I'm guilty of it too. I bought this and I can't figure it out, and I'm very upset. But I will. Um, but we have this. We have this to add into, she refers to it as mark making, when it comes to all of this. So we can make teardrops when it comes to this. We can make our own dots and make them different sizes. They don't have to be that big. We can doodle with this pen and get all of these different marks. We can use a black fine liner. Just make sure it's archival, and all of that stuff. And with it, and it's just really cool. One of the things that she shows, because I never take credit for anything, is this writing. You can't read it. It's scribbles. It's just scribbles. So what if we took this? Matter of fact, it's not done with pen. You do it with graphite. Yeah, a pencil, just a pencil, and it actually looks like my signature. I have to be honest with you, but and then you just keep doing that. And it's just marks that go across the page. No one can read it. You're not really writing any words, but it makes them look, okay, does that say something? And here you just put that into the corner. And it's like you tense up and you just let it go. So I mean, it's just fun. A pencil, we can do that with a pencil. But there, we've got those two areas, and I love them. They look great. So again, pencil, this embossing powder, Crayola watercolors. We could get these beautiful backgrounds that we are now going to turn into cards. And I'm seeing a special pattern paper for this one. But I want to trim them down. And I'm going to try to keep an even white border, very thin, going around these. And it's okay if I don't. What I should have done was torn these, right? Yeah. Should have torn this one. This one would have been awesomely torn. But never fear. We can distress it. Alright, this one I'm going to take right up to the edge. I am not, when I'm cutting these, I'm not making sure if they're straight. Why? Why do we have to do that? This one, I am going to tear. Hand tearing it is. It's too thick on the edge, and I do want the white edge. Okay. I was getting a little confused there. So we got that one. And this one's just cute. Alright, so let's have some fun. I don't know where this one is going to go. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to keep that one just as it is. I actually kind of sort of have it centered. There's a first. And I think we'll put that one on a 5x7 base. Now, with this one, this is a paper distresser. It's by time. You can use your scissors. I choose not to. From prior damage. Our craft can be dangerous. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It has its potential. All right. Now, lots of fuzzies. Fuzzies, fuzzies. Let's get these onto some card bases. I am definitely a larger size card maker. I love a larger size card. I think you can do more with it. There's more real estate. You gotta love real estate. I'm going to take this and I'm going to back this on this. Now, these actually dried pretty flat. So I am going to use my glue. Rip it. Let's see. I'm looking at the comments here. Yes, Ave, I have watched her as well. Karen, and I cannot pronounce her last name. Oh, it would just be so bad. Sorry for the horrible scratchy sound. No, I am not measuring this. I just kind of eyeball it. Very much so. I don't. um, yes, Dawn. Two Little Owl Studio. Denise Love. Yes. Yes. She is so fun to watch. She gets excited when these little things happen, and it's just she she was one that made me smile when it came to that. Um, Debbie, yes, I have tried embossing over water. It works. It really does work. The issue is, and the issue's me. I'm one of the issues because I do not heat emboss from underneath. I do it a little bit to get the paper rolling, and then I come up to the front. It just goes all over the place. It just splatters right off for me. So there's that. But it does work. It absolutely does work. You can do that. For me, it wouldn't work for those two techniques that I'm looking for it to do. I've seen many, but and it can be done, absolutely. But you have, I feel, you have to be that embosser from underneath, or do what Biddy does and cook it in a little tiny heater. I'm just saying. All right, so that's our first one. Have our torn edges. We love our torn edges. I'll glue that down in a second. Now, let's look. We gotta put our balloons, frame them. So we're gonna do the same thing. Matter of fact, I am gonna grab my 2-inch wide tape, because then I don't have to hold it in place. You guys know my love for this 2-inch tape. It is my favorite. It is up there. I get it from Uline, but boy, it sucks right down onto the paper, and it removes any warping. Any warping. It's just a good tape, at least I feel. And I only use it when I've heat embossed a lot, or used a lot of water, but it's a good one. And it's just quicker than the glue. But she is strong. It is an extremely strong tape. Alright, so now I'm going to take this down, and I just want a nice little tiny border here. And again, eyeballing it. See, boom, flat. I'm not worried about that little smudge there. No one else. You should never worry about those smudges. That's what shows our card is handmade with love. And yes, I know I'm making people nuts because I just eyeball those cuts. I'm sorry. I just do it. To me, measuring takes away time from creating, right? Right. It's my reasoning. No one said you have to enjoy it or even agree with it. But I do not want to waste time measuring. And then we've got this. That's going to go there. We are even going to add sentiments. I know this is a day of miracles. I get it. Now, this one I will measure. Because I do want a full 7 a 5x7 panel for this one. And we're going to put that down there. Because I want that to cover up, and then this is going to go on there. But we're going to be adding something to that. And then, of course, our last one, I want a very thin border for this one. And if anyone's wondering, these are the Enjoy the Journey, the FSJ large sears. Non-stick Teflon. Yes. These are the only scissors that touch this tape. And I never have to clean them. Just saying. All right. Here we go. Just a very thin border on this one. And then we're going to trim it. And then we are going to finish up our cards. And yes, before anyone asks, I do save all of my scraps, except the backing paper. And I need one more card base. Okay, now let's. All right, I'm going to move that out of the way too. I did not fall. I thought something was going to slide off my table. Okay. And I wanted to catch it. All right. So here are our cards. Now, this one, we're pretty much set with this one. So we're going to take this one down. And we're going to set that in. And I even have a sentiment. So whenever I die cut, and me and my die cutting machine, we're getting on speaking terms again, so that's absolutely awesome. If I do any die cut, I die cut multiples. So here is our sentiment. Now, do you have to put it on the front? Absolutely not. We can put our sentiment on the inside. Okay, so always know that. We do a lot of work to the front of our cards, and I know I've said this before, but we really do. Why do we want to cover it up? I'm just saying. But we can take this and go like this. Have a little play. And I like that. I think that looks cute. These are already doubled. I believe this sentiment came from the first Advent calendar Spellbinders did. They had some awesome word dies in that Advent calendar. And I believe I covered up the spot. Yes. Just happened to work out. Remember, when you're gluing on watercolor paper, cold press, it's got some texture to it. Make sure you press down so that it gets down in there. And that is our first card. See, simple shapes. Have fun with the simple shapes. Wait till they dry, and then you can go over. Make these just a lighter, add a little bit more water, and you get this translucent. And we'll be getting into that more. All right, first card. Yay! But yeah, these are all my extra thingies. For this one, same thing, because we are set. Going to set that here. My favorite cardstock is black. And I think One Moment in Time is perfect. That's our next one. This one and this one. They need just something extra. And what a better way to end is Biddy's, one of her recent releases of the Four Seasons. Absolutely fell in love with this one. Absolutely fell in love with it. So, this needs something from this. Oh, they have a wonderful day. Enjoy that little one. And I just want to choose one of these backgrounds. And lady. It's gorgeous. I'm talking to myself here. Exquisite. So I want to take this panel and I want to strip with it. And I want that one girl. Okay. More on this will be coming. Alrighty. You can take one of your mixed media backgrounds, and I'm going to take this one and real quick get this set in place. I'm going to set that towards the top. We have our sentiment here, and I'm going to have that go along the bottom. So with this mixed media feel, I want this to come down here, and I want that to be up there, and I actually want her to sit right there. But I need something around her. And here's what I mean by that. So there's a lot of times where I'll tell people, you know, the slimmest of mats can be your friend when it comes to having a piece stand out. It doesn't matter how busy your piece will be, you need it to be able to have something to fall back on, if that makes sense. You can take 3 different busy patterns and they will work together. Sometimes people say, okay, this is just getting too busy, or I need a small print when it comes to a pattern paper. My opinion, the only thing that you need is a mat. And whatever that mat is, whatever you want that mat to be, it just needs a mat. And that's what she needs. For her to stand up. These are some busy patterns that we've got going on here. This is now going to go down to the bottom. And again, I want her to just nestle right there. I'm also one where I don't need to put something directly in the center. And I know that just makes people crazy. But I just want the smallest of small border just to sit around her. Now, again, I'm going to take this real quick. You can see her, but she's not framed. All right, the gold is accenting her. The green in the flower that's to her left is highlighting her band. The blue is also pulling into this piece as well. But you lose her. So if I take this piece of black cardstock and ever so slightly, now you could certainly use oh, T, have a great day. Oh, you're probably gone by now. And I'm just going to trim extremely close to this image. Yes, you can use a paper trimmer. But this is also why I love long shears. I can get this long cut just going straight up. It is the thinnest of thin when it comes to this border. So now, when I place her down, now she's there. Now you can see her. Your eyes are still going to go back and forth, but your first focal point is her. So the slimmest of slim, when it comes to a mat, can make the world of difference. Very busy. Extremely busy. Flowy busy. Beautiful image. We want her to be the first thing that people see. Now, I am also going to prop her up using some foam squares. And I'm going to put them in the corner because this ledge is going to get in my way. And I still do put glue on these foam squares. Uline also has foam squares, and they're great, and they stick beautifully. All right, here we go. And then press. And now we're going to put that in there. So I didn't want any frame going on around my card because I wanted the focus to be on the two main areas. One, the pattern paper, the image, and the mixed media that we did. This will pay me to put a sentiment on. I'm just saying. But I am going to take this one, and it's going to go on the inside. It does. It sometimes pains me to put a sentiment on the front of my cards. We do a lot of work. So there you go. So we actually made cards today. And I think we had fun. So use watercolors. Use, maybe you really want to get into card making, but it's an investment. Let's face it. It is truly an investment. Yep, I will be the first one to say and admit that. I look at my stash very differently now. And that was one of those things that I did when I was sitting back and needed a break. No stamps. Yes, we have some stamps for our sentiments, dies. But again, watercolors, have fun with shapes. Add doodles with a black fine liner. Have fun with your watercolors and stencils. And if you don't have stencils, find something to mark with and just have fun. And I encourage you to watch Denise Love and how she marks things. And it's just really cool. I mean, she is all over mixed media. She uses soft pastels and chalks and acrylic paints and all of these different things. But the pieces are absolutely gorgeous that she puts together. Here we added in our pattern paper and just a lot of fun. This one actually turned out to be my favorite one when it came to that, especially after I put that scribble. I forget what she calls it. She calls it some type of writing. It's just all over the place. But I love it when it's in the graphite. It's just sitting in the background when it comes to that. So, this is what we did. So have fun with all of your stuff. You don't need to, maybe you don't want to use a stamp that day. Have fun creating some backgrounds. Have fun. I'm sure if you get like those pens too, fill them up with, what is it, glycerin? Is it glycerin that Lindsay the Frugal Crafter did? And you can do that. Have fun with it. Yes, Dawn, she really is. I've been watching her for a while now. And she's got some very interesting classes as well that are available when it comes to this. So, all right. making sure there's no questions. Okay, are they leaving? Oh, yeah, something. Okay. Let's see. Dawn, I'm glad you were here too. I'm glad everybody was here. I know it's been a while. Got to get up and moving. Um, she's just yeah, and she's just got so much energy. So just a few updates. Probably later on today, I am also going to be showing the final video for our file journal. I think this came out really cool. It actually looks like a file. So this is mysteries. You'll be able to see how we put things in our book, or how we finish this up, how we put the cover together, how we put these on, the stamping, the charms, and I've got charms in here as well, and how we made our own old-fashioned looking map. So this is done. So you'll be seeing that sometime today. As I said, I saw a few of you, or I should say a bunch of you, came into the free group of our community. Thank you so much. I'm going to start getting some videos together there. The official launch on the community, both the free and the paid, is going to be April. But you can get into either side. I would rather, don't go into the page yet. There's nothing in there yet. But they are live. I needed to see it published. It was driving me crazy that I couldn't see it published, so I just published it. But we're going to start getting stuff in there so that we can have fun creating our art and just having a good time with it. And then, of course, stay tuned for the beginning of April, the first weekend. There's going to be a launch. Wait till you see it. I've given you sneak peeks. It's going to be a fun one. So please stay tuned for that. I wish you all nothing but happiness and joy, whether you're just sitting watching the TV or you're creating your art. Just always enjoy the moment, enjoy the process, have fun with it. Try new things, try different things to make marks with and to have fun. Just scribble. Just take a pencil and just scribble and have fun and see what you get. But I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. I hope you had a good time. If you're watching the replay, I hope you enjoyed it as well and you dug into your stash and just had fun with different things and seeing how many layers you can get onto your cards. But we created 4 cards in no problem, starting out with watercolors. So everyone, have a great day. All right. Enjoy. Continue to stay safe and healthy. Please, everyone. And I will talk to you in the next one. Till then, take care, guys. Bye.